Hello and welcome back to another week of Poke Knowledge. This week I'll be covering a few theories that are part of a creepypasta. So let us begin. The White Hand. Known in the code as whitehand.gif, this was scripted to appear as a Pokemon on the third floor of the Lavender Tower. It is divided into 4 separate animations: an introduction, the cry of a Pokemon unleashed before a battle, an idle, and 2 attacks. These attacks are unknown, as they are listed as Fist and Brutal. While viewing the animations have been proven to be hazardous, viewing the frames of the model has been proven to have no adverse effects. The White Hand is depicted as a shriveled, slightly decayed hand, with surprising attention to detail. Flesh is peeling back from the bone, several tendons dangling realistically out of the wrist. The first attack is a hand balled into a fist, then swinging forward. However, the Brutal animation is missing several frames. The hand seems to go up, then cuts out. After a few seconds, it reappears closed again. No record has been found of these missing frames. The intriguing thing is that this was brought up in Pokemon Origins while Red was talking to a person in the Pokemon Center. She points out a white hand on his shoulder, but when he looks, there's nothing there. Creepy. Next, the Ghost animation. The Ghost animation, coded as haunting.swf, was intended to be placed in several areas throughout the tower, including in the center of a path on the 2nd floor. However, players cannot interact with it, leaving many to believe that this is intended to be a background feature. The Ghost animation, as well, must be viewed in individual frames. It is compressed of 59 frames total. However, after extraction, around half of these frames have been revealed to be a standard Ghost model used in the Pocket Monsters, or Pokemon. Around a quarter of the remaining frames are compressed of static, and produce a fading effect. However, interspersed with the burst of statics are several frames of screaming faces, along with images of a skeletal man in a cloak, hypothesized to be the Grim Reaper, and of several killed corpses. The meaning behind these are unknown. While under oath before the Video Games Commission Board, lead programmer Hisashi Sogabe testified as to having no knowledge as to where these images surfaced. Out of all the phenomena associated with LTS, Lavender Town Syndrome, this animation is most speculated on. In his thesis, Video Games and the Manipulation of the Human Mind, Dr. Jackson Turner argued that the images were intentionally placed in. Due to their brief time appearing on the screen and graphic natures of the frames, Turner theorizes that these were meant to subliminally influence players into becoming more frightened by the disturbing surroundings. Yeah, I could see that. Now on to the final one, the Buried Alive model. Often referred to it as its code, the Berryman script. The Buried Alive model was to be found on the final story of the Pokemon Tower, in what has now been replaced with the Marowak Ghost. According to the scripts assigned to it, the Buried Alive model was intended to be the boss of the tower. Once reaching the top of the floor, the following conversation would have taken place. "You're here. I'm trapped. And I'm lonely. So very lonely. Won't you join me?" After this, the battle would have been initiated. Once in battle view, the Buried Alive model appeared to be a decayed human corpse attempting to crawl out of the ground. It was programmed to have 2 white hands, a Gengar, and a Muk. Strangely enough, a protocol for the Buried Alive actions after it was defeated were not written. In the case of the player defeating him, the game would freeze. However, a specific ending was written by an unknown programmer upon losing the battle. In this end, the Buried Alive was to have stated, "Finally, fresh meat. followed by several lines of gibberish. He was to have then dragged the player's character into the ground surrounding him. The scene would finish with the typical game over screen. However, in the background, an image of a buried alive character devouring the player was to have been shown. Especially strange are the protocols for after this scene. The cartridge was to download this image to the small internal memory contained in the Game Boy, overriding the title screen that normally accompanied a Game Boy turning on. Instead, whenever it was started, the player would view this image as the sound file staticmesh.wav was played. The intended purpose of this effect, unlike many of the other factors, leads towards LTS, is unknown. So, if you can't catch on, next week on Halloween, I will be reading off LTS, the Lavender Town Syndromes, one of my all-time favorite creepypastas ever. So, thank you for watching, guys, and be looking forward to next week's episode. This is Bisharp, signing out.